Hey ducks, this video was supposed to be uploaded by March at the latest, so I hope that you had a lovely spring. I had a very busy one. I read a lot of fiction over my winter holiday, which I don't normally read a lot of novels and stuff, because I'm usually either focusing really hardcore on nonfiction and textbooks and essays and articles and junk, with like a little bit of poetry thrown in so that I can sleep at night, but I don't have a lot of time to really sink into books. So over winter break, I did have time. I can't stop looking at my hair, I'm sorry. So over winter break, I did have time to really delve into some novels, and I really liked some of them. While I was reading, I was also frantically trying to finish my poetry collection, which comes out next week. Okay, let's try that again, Rhiannon. Over winter break, I was also trying to finish my poetry collection, which comes... Okay, you know the dates, it's fine. Yeah, books is great. So I had like all of my writing guides and pamphlets on my bed, and then I had all of these books on my bed, and like there's just 30 books on my comforter, right? And that's what I would sleep on every night. First off is The Kitchens of the Great Midwest by J. Ryan Stradall, and my friend who worked at a bookstore when we were both in high school, he came in and he gave a reading at the bookstore, and she has been telling me for years to like read this book. So last year at Young Arts Writing Program, the Los Angeles Regional program, he came in and he gave a talk to us in a really cool workshop, so I got a signed copy of the book and I finally got to read it. It takes place in Midwestern America and revolves around the love of cooking. Each chapter starts with a recipe, and apparently at some of the bookstore readings, they would actually make the recipes and everyone would have a nice snack while, you know, the author read aloud, which sounds great, and I'm definitely gonna incorporate some more food into my next book or whatever. Don't be fooled though, it is still a very sad book in the big, traumatic, life-changing event kind of way, and also just daily heartbreak. It might have just been my frazzled mind state when I was reading the book, but the story is a little hard to follow sometimes. Most of the chapters revolve around second characters, and you have to connect the dots to figure out how they're all related to the protagonist, Eva Thorvald, who is wonderful, just a very grounded and strong, feisty character, and the story follows her into adulthood. There's a wonderful passage involving like a mean boy at school and chili pepper sauce, and it's just... Okay, it's cold. I had to get a blanket. Just fabulous. I read The Fingersmith over winter break. I could talk about this book for a very long time. Restraining myself. I've been following the movie adaptation for literally years by Park Chan-wook. It's called The Handmaiden, and when I finally saw it in theater, my soul left my body about 8 times. The general story is that a pickpocket girl is hired to spy on a wealthy heiress, and mayhem and lesbians ensue. You can read the book and watch the movie and get totally different experiences because the major plot twists are completely different. So like, I was reading the book and I was expecting some of the stuff from the movie to come up, and then it went in a totally different direction. So I actually recommend watching the movie first and then reading the book, because they're both great, and I totally understand why they changed some of the stuff for the movie, because just suspense and terror like functions differently in a novel than it does in cinema. Both experiences are valuable and enjoyable and function wonderfully within their mediums. The book takes place in England and the film takes place in Korea, and the author of the book, by the way, writes a lot of gay period romance, so FYI if that is your genre of choice. Last book is The People in the Photo by Helen Gestern. This is kind of a sneaky study book because I tried to look for the original French version of it, but I had to settle for the English copy, so an attempt was made to be productive. It's a good book regardless. It's the tale of an older woman uncovering horrible family secrets, as one does in France. The whole thing is told via correspondence, letters and emails and whatnot. It is a little bit predictable in the way that, you know, a vase sitting at the edge of a table, you know it's gonna fall off and break and you're gonna get glass in your feet. It does kind of add to the writing a little bit, but it was a little bit predictable. I would have made different choices were I in this woman's situation. Especially in my romantic interludes. I was gonna say that we've all been there, but I definitely haven't. It was a really good translation though, and I do want to read like the proper French one, and I know that my mom has a bunch of books by the same author, so I'm intrigued to delve further into her work. And the protagonist for this one worked in like the Paris archives, so I love seeing all the little like archive bits dispersed throughout. Speaking of, I actually have to go do all of my French homework for like the last month. So today's fact is that snowflakes can fall at 1 to 6 feet per second. We don't obviously have snow here in Los Angeles, not in winter, not in any time of the year, but what you have right now is some of the books that I read over my winter holiday. That's all for me. I'm not gonna go fall asleep on my desk. Later, nerds! It is like I'm making toast in the morning and I can just butter it up.